Okay, okay. So let's start. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm happy to introduce Rahul Sonawalkar. Rahul, I hope I pronounce it okay. He's the founder and CEO of Julius AI, and before starting Julius, Rahul was a software engineer at companies like Facebook and Uber. And under his leadership, Julius uses AI to help people understand complex data. I think from now, you can take the stage role and introduce yourself, maybe better than me. And thank you so much for taking time to be with us. We cannot hear you.
Sorry, I was on mute. Absolutely, it's great to meet everyone, and thanks so much for having me. And thank you so much for the intro, Ronit. So I'm Rahul. I'm the founder and CEO of Julius. Julius is building an AI tool for data analysis and data science. We launched about 13 months ago, and since then have crossed 1 million registered users and have generated over 3.5 million data visualizations. And we process about 500,000 data sets every month. When we first got started, we didn't realize how big of a problem it was to just analyze the data that's on your hand, get insights from it, visualize it, and do data cleaning. And as we build the product and put it out there, more and more users started using us. And a group of users that we found the most surprising was researchers and academics and scientists. When we first built the tool, we thought that the need would be in the industry. And within the first few weeks, it was pretty clear that, wow, like researchers, scientists, and academics, they have massive amounts of data on their hands, and they need AI's help to help analyze that data and get insights from it. So that's Julius. I would it be helpful if I also give a demo of the tool? Happy to do it
Yes,
later
please.
in the chat.
Yes, thanks.
Awesome, cool. So I'll share my screen.
Sorry,
says,
I'd like to share just a minute. Yeah, you can share now.
Great. Sharing screen. Please let me know if you can see it.
Yes.
Awesome. So this is Julius. We believe in three things, which is one, that there's a future where AIs are going to write all of our code. And when that happens, a lot of researchers and people with data on their hands will be able to analyze that data with simple English instructions and with the AI serving as their coder. So Julius does computations, does statistical analysis, creates charts, gives you insights. You can even ask questions about the data, all these different things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just click try Julius and get started. Now, there's two ways to use Julius. One is you can either pick a workflow that you want, or you could just simply attach your file and start asking questions. So in this case, I'm gonna attach this gene expression data I have. And the gene expression data contains thousands of rows of data. Julius can crunch files as big as a GB. And while you're loading the data, you can even just click on the columns and have the AI generate insights for you. So the AI will simply track your clicks and start giving you visualization and insights based on what you're showing, what you're clicking. So here I just click, column, the cell count A and gene expression C, and it made this visualization for me. But I'll dismiss that for now because I actually want to ask it a question. Now, just for a quick show of hand, how many of you guys currently, do programming in Python or R? I don't know if I can see a show of hands. See two. Okay, 3, 4. Awesome. Okay, so about 4 out of 50. Is that okay? So Julius basically, when it does the analysis, it does it with the help of code. And one of the things about AI is hallucination and accuracy is always a concern. But with Julius, you can take the code that it writes and produce the same results as is. We don't ask the AI to analyze the data. We ask the AI to um, write the code to do the analysis and then run that code. And the code is just binary, right? It either works or it doesn't work. And if you give it the same input, it will give you the same output every time. So in this case, I loaded this data set and I have it in my view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, great, load this data and show me the first few rows. And the AI will basically take the data and write code to do the analysis. So here it wrote this code, and now it will also run the code to do the analysis for me. So it's going to take the code, run the code, take the output, and then display it to me in the UI. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to ask it, can you give me a box plot? And have the AI take the command I gave it, again, write additional Python code, and run that Python code and give me this box plot. And I can always just download this box plot and also take the same code and run it again, either in my Python notebook or Python environment, and get the exact same results. If you would like to do the code editing in Julius, so first I saw some folks here know programming. So if you would like to edit the code or rerun it, you can always just click the edit code button, go in there and make the changes. So let's say I want to change the title to box plot of gene expression, run it, presentation. I can hit save, and then the AI will change the title. Well, the new code that has the title as box plot run it presentation, it should run and produce the new visualization with the new title. And we can change the code as much as we would like. Third thing we want to do is you can do data manipulation and data filtering, but also advanced statistical methods. So if you want to say, can you please do an ANOVA analysis on this? The AI will then take the command and start writing code to do the ANOVA analysis. And it will come up with the analysis, show us the results, show us the p-value, etc. And then we can actually give it more feedback like, hey, I want you to leave out gene expression B and then do the ANOVA again, and so on. Now, some of you folks that don't know programming, you can still follow along the logic of the code by simply looking at the code explanation to understand in simple English, what does the code do? And still get understanding of what's happening. Now, if you would like to ask further questions, you can also select text and click clarify this. So you can ask a sidekick for additional information. So I can just click this and say clarify this, and the AI wrote this deeper explanation for me, where first of all, it explained to us what ANOVA is, and then it explained to us the interpretation of the results. Each gene's results are presented as an F statistic and a p-value, and then it explained the specific findings to us. And then I could use this as a draft for my report. I could ask additional questions and so on. Any questions so far?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Nice to meet you, first of all. I'm actually doing the same thing right now by just using ChatGPT, asking him to write the code for me and then copy paste it into my R console. So what is the difference beside the visualization that you have in here? I can't see any real difference.
Great question. So first of all, like if you do any kind of... Sorry, what was that?
No, continue.
Okay, so if you do any kinds of like repeatable analysis, you can take the Julius analysis that you're doing and turn that into a repeatable workflow. So I'll show you in a second where ChatGPT is a good starter tool. What we're focused on is building a more advanced tool for people who do data analysis pretty frequently. So you can take this analysis and just hit a button, convert to workflow, and turn that into a series of repeatable steps that you can run every time. So in this case, I just hit convert to workflow, and the AI generated this workflow for me that I can just run every time. Oh, I want to do this exact same analysis. Second thing is ChatGPT. Any kind of serious visualization that you do, it times out after 60 seconds. Julius actually builds more powerful code execution servers that allow you to get, first of all, 8 gigabytes of RAM. So you can basically do your entire analysis on Julius in the cloud and get up to 8 gigabytes of RAM, see a CPU utilization. And if you need to do extensive analysis, you can upgrade to even 32 gigabytes of RAM. Moreover, your files are persisted up to 7 days of inactivity. So you come to Julius, you do some analysis, you want to come back tomorrow, you can resume the work that you were doing without losing your files. In ChatGPT, your files just stay in a single thread. And then the third thing is small things like the experience. We've just built a superior experience that have allowed 1 million users to do their analysis in a way that they can't in ChatGPT. If you're doing some basic level analysis, I would totally recommend starting with ChatGPT. I think it's a great starter tool. But for anything that requires going more deeper, I would recommend Julius.
Thank you. I see Esther has another question.
Yeah, may I ask a question? Thank you for
Yeah.
for this lecture. Is it possible to upload an SPSS or Excel file?
Absolutely. So I will just show you now how to. So I'll take an SPSS file. I have this exercise.sav data that you can export from SPSS. And I forgot who asked the question. I think it was Liran who asked the
Esther.
previous question.
Liran, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things, as you might have seen, is GPT-4 is not always the best model. A lot of people prefer Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Sorry, I can find my cursor. Yeah. So Claude 3.5 Sonnet and Julius lets you switch between models. So you can get everything from O1 Mini to Claude 3.5 Sonnet to Gemini to Cohere. So as other model companies come up with better models, you will always have access to that in Julius. The one we recommend is default, because what that means is we pick the best model depending on the task. So if you want to do statistical analysis and your AI writes code and the code has errors, Julius will use a different model to fix the errors in the code, because we have seen from our data that using multiple models for code correction leads to better results. And those kinds of things you won't get in ChatGPT. But third thing is, it supports SPSS files, it supports Excel files, and also you can switch to a different programming language than Python. You can switch to R and basically replace your RStudio with Julius. So in this case, I'm going to first upload the SPSS file, and I'm going to say load this file, and then visualize the data in it for me. And my hope here is that the Julius will take the SPSS file and first of all, find the right module in Python to load it, and then generate these plots for us. And as you can see, it ran into this error. My hope is that Julius will be able to figure out the error, and it did. So it figured out the error, and then it proceeded to show first few rows of the data, gave us summary statistics, and now it's attempting to create the visualization with the correct code. And there we go. It's made a heat map for us, pair plot, numericals. So within about 15 seconds of uploading the SPSS file, it gave us a box plot, a pair plot of the numerical variables, and a correlation heat map. And also the summary statistics. And again, you can just always take the summary statistics and say, I want to know more about this, and the AI will generate like some kind of an explanation for you that you can then use to write your reports and insights. I would also love to show everyone the R functionality that I mentioned earlier. So you can switch kernels anytime. Today we support Python, R, and Lean Python. Lean Python is a very basic version of Python that doesn't come pre-installed with most modules. So if you're doing some advanced statistical analysis, you can always start with Lean Python and then avoid dependency issues. But the third thing we're about to launch soon is GPUs. So if you do scientific computing, you can do really big workloads, massive amounts of data, gigabytes of data within seconds by doing it on a GPU instead of a CPU. It's still in beta, so if anyone would like access to it, please reach out to me, Rahul@julius.ai, and we would love to get you access so you can give us feedback on the GPUs. But I'm going to switch the kernel to R and take some data that I have for healthcare and load it in Julius. So I'm going to load this data in healthcare in Julius. I'm going to say load this file and show me a few rows. That's usually how I personally like to start with, just so I have like the analysis set up. Some of our users like to do different things, but here the AI is writing R code and then also running it. So it's sort of like you're driving the whole analysis with simple English and producing these results. And then I can just say, cool, can you visualize patients by department? So in this case, I have over 250,000 rows of data that Julius has access to in this file. And you can see within seconds, it will be able to use the right R library to give us the outputs and the visualizations. So here it made a visualization for patients by department, and then also gave us this as a table. I can always click on this and export the tables it generates by clicking the export button, and it will let you export as an XLSX, as a CSV, and more. And the third thing I would love to show you guys before we go more into Q&A is the workflows. So we made a workflow earlier. We took an analysis and turned that into a repeatable workflow. We can just run every time. But also you can find workflows that other users have made. And so data relation with monthly sales, et cetera, but also publish your own workflows. If you would like to publish a workflow publicly and share with other users, you can do that. And third thing is, one of the more interesting things we have seen is there's a group of academics in the US who are using Julius to teach entire classes. So here, this is a professor. He teaches AI-assisted financial analysis at Rice University Business School. And he describes it pretty well, where everyone has already used ChatGPT and other LLMs for other purposes, but he prefers using Julius because it combines several LLMs with a Python interpreter, and he personally found it to perform much better in terms of accuracy, in terms of speed, and in terms of quality of responses. So what's interesting about this class is, he reached out to us and he said, hey guys, my name is Professor Back. I teach financial analysis. I'm going to teach a whole class using your tool. And we didn't believe him at first. So we asked him for slides. We said, hey, could you share the course slides with us? We want to see how you're using Julius to teach the class. And turns out pretty much every single slide in the class talks about how to use Julius. It's just ask Julius, ask Julius, ask Julius, ask Julius, ask Julius, tell Julius, ask Julius. And then we think this is the future where people will learn to do statistical analysis, data analysis, financial analysis by simply talking to the AI. And that's the future that we're building towards. This is still the start. I mean, we have a lot more things coming down the roadmap. But I'll pause there to see if folks have any questions.
There are two questions in the chat. One is, how did you choose the coding software? They didn't see the button there. Can you show the button of?
Oh, the coding software for Julius? You mean the programming language?
How did you choose maybe Ella, you can ask what's interest you. She wrote only, how did you choose the coding?
The programming.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you change it to R typing?
Oh, how did I do it? I will just quickly show you. So it's when you're on Julius, you can just go here in the top, and you will see when you first load Julius, you will see Python, but after that you can choose R if you would like, and then continue the analysis in R.
Thanks. And Smadar, would you like to ask?
Yes, hi, please. Hi. I asked how accurate and reliable are the analyses, and in the test you did you find the consistency exactly in the findings in the surgeries you did?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go back to the surgery example. You mean this one, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Each time you did a test, it was accuracy in a high level, or to the tool, to Julius? Can I trust it every time I will use it?
Yeah, great question. So there's one of the biggest things we heard from our users was that, AIs will hallucinate responses oftentimes. And that's one of the biggest frustrations of working with AI tools. With Julius, it's not Julius coming up with surgery and this distribution. Julius is simply writing the logical code that says, take all the departments, sort them by patient count, and then display that result in a chart. Julius doesn't know yet when it writes this code what the different departments are or what the patient in each departments are. It's simply writing the logical code to ask to implement the analysis. So if you take this code and if you run it in your R Studio or R Notebook with the same file, you will get the same results, the exact same numbers, exact same outputs. So
every time that I will do it, I will get the same results. It will keep and there will be accuracy between every time I will do it.
So on Julius, that's where it gets interesting. So we will try again one more time with the same file. So I'll upload again the hospital data. This is my hospital data. I'm going to upload it. This time I'm going to choose a different kernel. I'm going to choose Python to let's see if we can get the same results. So I'm going to choose Python. I'm going to say, hi Julius, can you please load this data and then visualize patients by each department. And this time this is a new thread, new file, and let's see if it comes up with the same response as before. So here it came up with this response. In a separate tab, I will open up the old thread so we can compare. So here's our old thread where we used R, and these were the numbers. And this was the visualization. So we can compare the numbers. So I'm going to say, can you also show me a breakdown of the patient count by department? So that it shows us the numbers, but roughly looks like gynecology, 250,000, gynecology about 250,000, and then surgery is very low, and then TB and chest disease, then radiotherapy, anesthesia. So it came up with the same trend. We will see if the numbers actually compare. So
Okay.
the
So
numbers.
you are saying that it's very accurate and consistent tool in its analysis? That's what you find?
Yes, but I'll give a caveat. So this is a very interesting story we heard from our user where if there's ambiguity in your data, the AI may have different interpretations of it in different sessions. So for example, one of our users, he is the COO of a company in the US, and he uses Julius for like financial forecasting. And this one time he emailed us and said, "Hey Rahul, like I've been trying to get it to make a graph that shows like the revenue going up, and I can't get it to do that." And then I got on a call with him. I was pretty interested to figure out like what can we do better there. And turns out that his data has three kinds of revenue. One is revenue by department, one is revenue by business unit, and one is revenue by product. And between threads, it was the AI was it saw three different revenues. It would have different definitions of whether to forecast revenue by department or revenue by product or revenue by a business unit. And that's why I saw the discrepancy. But it's more like if there is multiple definitions in your data, you might want to clarify to the AI when you ask a question. Like, I want you to forecast revenue by product and ignore revenue by department or business unit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There is another question by Ran. Does Julius support real-time data analysis and the ability to import data through APIs?
Yes. So that's one of the things Julius does that ChatGPT doesn't, is it can make network requests. So it can connect to databases, it can connect to real-time data sources, it can make API calls, and it can store massive amounts of data. So to do an API call, if your API is public and doesn't require a key, you can just simply paste the URL here and ask it to fetch the data from that endpoint. If the API has, some secrets where you want to give it a key to get access to it, you can go here, click on Manage Secrets, and add a secret. You can say ranch, I think it was ranch API key, and then paste your key here, hit save, and this way your API key will be available to the AI through this name, and it won't be able to see the actual API key. And then AI will be able to connect to the API using that key. I will demonstrate an example of this. So let's say we look at Elon Musk's Wikipedia page. I'm going to give it this link, and I'm going to say, can you go to this URL and then get me first 100 characters from this URL. And because Julius is able to make network requests and use Python, it's going to make a request to this endpoint and then get the output. So let's see. There we go. So here's the output. Elon Musk, Wikipedia, jump to content, main menu. Let's see, childhood, family, education, the boring company, Twitter. Let's see if this matches the first 100 characters. So early education, zip2, boring company, Twitter, leadership style. It's able to get these first 100 characters for us on the web page, and it's able to, you can just give it URLs and ask it to pull data from that URL or pull data from that API, and you can just do that.
Wow.
Another thing is you can also do, like, this is something new we're experimenting with, which is you can also ask it to do, like pull citations for you. So if you, let's say, want to know, can you search the internet and find out who won the Nobel Prize for chemistry this year? Let's see if it can get us that. So this is a pretty recent thing, right? The model was trained before it knew who won the chemistry prize, because the chemistry prize was announced yesterday. So it was able to use the internet. You can use the internet, search the internet, found these 5 sources, and it gave us this answer. The 2024 Nobel Prize was awarded to David Baker and Demis Hassabis and John Jumper. And you can also go to these URLs and see the pages. So this page was published yesterday, and it's able to pull those sources and get us those answers. If you want to do a broad research on some topic, for example, Ozempic, so I can say search the internet and find me the side effects of Ozempic. Let's see if Julius is able to do that. There we go. So it searched the internet, found these 5 sources on the side effects of Ozempic, and said common side effects of Ozempic include gastrointestinal issues, nausea, vomiting, and then each of these things is cited. So you can actually go on those pages and ask for like more questions. Can it create a live dashboard? I saw a question from Ayal. It cannot right now, but soon it will be able to. We're working on this, where it will be able to create UI code. So you can take your data, possibly from a live data source, and then give you a dashboard that you can check. And then I also saw there was a question about the privacy and confidentiality policy. So we do not train on any of the data that you upload. In fact, all the data you upload, if you're on the free plan, is deleted after an hour of inactivity. So your files will be gone. If you're on a paid plan, they will be retained for up to 7 days, but you can always just go and delete them. So we do not train on any of the data you upload. With the model companies, we have a strict policy where they do not train on any of the prompts, any of the questions you ask. We have explicit legal policies with these companies. Third thing is every user gets their own sandbox. So all the files you upload are not on our server. They're on the sandbox that belongs just to you. And no other user's files live on that sandbox. And this allows us to give you, dedicated resources like memory and CPU and GPU. It's basically your own computer in the cloud where your files live. And then after 7 days, we just wipe the computer and it's clean.
Thanks.
Can I have a question?
Yeah.
So I'm taking you back to the analysis you showed us before. Can your tool interpret the results and create a follow-up question accordingly? For example, can you look at correlation between variables, and the one you found correlation, can you create a regression analysis?
Absolutely. So there I'm sure if you go to a community forum, there are users who have written about regression. I'll just search for regression. Here's a user that has published a guide on data transformation and linear regression and how they did regression in Julius. And this is the whole analysis they did with regression in Julius. They were able to generate a Q-plot, linear regression summary, other kinds of regressions, and everything else. Part of it is in this guide a user wrote, Alicia. You can also just ask it yourself. So you have a data set you want to do regression on. You can do it on Julius. I can give it a try live if folks would like. I'm not quite sure if the gene expression data is ideal for regression, but I'll just give it a try.
I'm sorry, but my question wasn't about the regression. I asked if the model can interpret the results of the previous question and then to create another question accordingly. Regression or other model, find me correlation between variables and then do something with these variables. You do find the correlation.
Absolutely. So should we give it a try? We can ask it, hey, based on the results so far, what do you think?
Yeah.
So based on the results so far, what should we explore further with this analysis? So my hope is that it's able to see, the different F statistic, p-values. So given the ANOVA results, we should explore gene expression C as it shows a statistically significant difference across treatment groups. So as we can see, that makes sense. The F statistic is pretty big for this compared to the other two. So I will say let's do that, and let's see what the AI comes up with. So it's going to do a post hoc test, just Turkey's HSD. And then it performed the test, wrote the code, and gave us those results.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Maybe I have a question. Can you upload the graph, like a very complicated one, and it can analyze it, like vice versa?
Yeah, great question. Yes and no. The yes is yes, it can take graphs and other images and tell us what's unique in them, what's the insights. What we have seen though is the vision capability is not super advanced yet, so it might miss some of the minute things that are visible to the human eye. So if you have like a scatter plot and then one value that's the completely outlier, it may miss that. But in general, it's able to see trends in the images. But we're hoping to improve those capabilities soon.
Thanks. Smadar asks also, is it possible to do structural equation analysis?
I want to say yes. Personally, I haven't done it yet, but I would say, give it a try. We have users doing all kinds of interesting analyses that I myself don't even know about. So if you give it a try, please let me know how it goes.
Okay, I promise.
Yeah.
I want to ask some questions, please.
Yes.
Can I create a new workflow and then every time to upload another file with the same structure? I want to create the general workflow to do something with this data. And for example, every week I want to upload a new data. Okay, maybe a delta of data.
Yeah, absolutely. So you should be able to, so the good thing about workflows is that they're purely driven by English. So you can change the file every time you run the workflow. So when you run a workflow, let's say we want to run this workflow called data cleaner. When you can see the steps in the workflow, and then you can click run workflow, which will, first thing it will do is it will ask you to upload your file. So in this case, I'll upload my file. Let's say I want to upload this data called, Central Park Squirrel data. And then it will run the whole workflow on that file. And the next time I upload this file or run this workflow, it will again ask me to upload a file. So you can create a workflow that you can run every time on a new file. It may not work great if your file is completely different. If your if you made the workflow for, let's say, gene expression data, and then this time you're running it on like financial data, it may not work great. But as long as the theme is the same, it's a similar kind of data, the values could be different, the AI should be able to get pretty far. So here it's a very, very generic workflow. It's data cleaning workflow. So I gave it my file, and then it can ask me questions. For example, cool, remove the outliers. And then I can hit submit, and then it will go ahead and implement the analysis and the step I asked it to do. There we go. So this workflow wasn't made for my file, but I was able to run it on my file. And really the theme of the workflow is, if you do a certain kind of analysis every day, you should just make a workflow and then every time run it with a new file.
Okay, but I see that you created some workflow with Clay for cleaning data. But
Yeah.
if I want to create my own workflow, okay,
Yeah.
I can do it.
Exactly. So you can go to My Workflows and create new workflow, and then just call it whatever. So,
for example, I want to create this workflow with 3 tasks, only with 3 tasks. When I did it, I saw that this workflow created, for example, I don't remember exactly how many tasks, but around 10 different tasks. But I just wanted to create just 3 simple tasks. So how can I create it in my way?
yeah, well, you said you want to make a workflow for just 3 tasks, and you don't want it to do 10 tasks, right?
Yeah.
You can simply define the 3 tasks. So you can call it, my workflow, October 10th. You can define each step. So let's say the first step could be load a file. Second step could be step for the AI, whereas load this file and display the outliers in the data. And then you can add a new step. Great. Now remove the outliers and visualize the remaining data, and so on. So you can basically create your workflow depending on whatever task you want to do and give it English instructions. And then once you're happy with it, you can just hit run and run that workflow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Is there any more questions from the audience, or do you have anything else to present, Rahul?
No, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah.
Maybe a question about the pricing and for the students, if I want to teach a class with it, how will it work?
Yeah, absolutely. So we offer 50% discount to all academics. And our goal is to not, we basically, it just comes out for us to be, at no margins for us, is whatever it costs us. Our goal is to not make money from academics and students and researchers. Our hope is that, a lot of academics and students and researchers will go into the workforce and start doing analysis with Julius and spread the word there. We really are, our main customers are like the people that pay us are, companies. So for academics and students, we offer a pretty generous 50% off discount. And if you would like to teach a whole class, I would love to, follow up with you separately to see how we can support it.
Thanks. Any more questions?
Yeah, do you have a guide maybe to learn how to work with a lot of functionality of this tool?
Yes, we have guides. So many of them are written by users or the community. So I'll paste the link in the thread below. There is also a YouTube channel that explains how to do all kinds of statistical analysis in Julius in a short 5 to 10 minute videos. And so I'll paste the YouTube channel below as well. But also we are now working with, some Coursera creators to create actual courses and certifications on how to use Julius. So
Now
if
you can
folks want
data
to,
analysis.
Sorry.
no worries. And if you want to like follow those will be completely free of charge because, we want users to learn to use Julius better. So yeah.
Thank you.
Nice. Good. Okay, so
Now you can
thank
do
you.
data analysis, statistics, and computations with R.
I'm muting. Okay, sorry. No more questions. So thank you very much, Rahul. It was very valuable for our community, and your tool is really, really exciting. And thank you for your time and sharing your knowledge with us. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it, Ronit. Thank you for putting this together. And thank you, Avi, for introducing me to Ronit. And thank you to the whole community for asking great questions. You guys asked great questions. So hope you like using Julius. I will drop my email below. So you can, reach out with any questions. So the best, if you want to fastest response, is team@Julius or AI. Because if I'm not available, the team can respond. If not, I'll also share my personal email. If you have any personal questions, slightly slower. And yeah, so hope everyone likes using Julius.
I'm sure. Thank you very much. Thank you very
Awesome.
much. Are you okay there? Is the hurricane around you or not?
No, it's very far. It's I'm on the West Coast and it's on the East Coast, but I hope you all are safe. I've been reading some of the crazy stuff about what's happening in Israel right now. So I hope everyone is safe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.